Hi everyone, today I'm going to be breaking down how to file your tax return just for beginners. I'm going to give a little intro on two tax softwares, Wealthsimple and TurboTax. If you're looking for a more in-depth review and breakdown on how to file your tax returns, I do have a video that came out 2 years ago. I'll put up a link to it. It was from 2021's Canadian Taxes for Beginners. If you're looking for even more of a breakdown, I do have a course available for Canadians called Canadian Finance Pro. Just going through some of the topics I will cover: budgeting, credit, intro to investing, intro to the stock market, investment accounts. I'll help you build portfolios, and then Canadian taxes. So before you get started, I probably should have released this video a few weeks ago, but just being busy with work and to be honest, all the recent comments I got about Canadian taxes, I probably should have released this video a little sooner. So what you want is to get all your funds and everything in order and all your tax slips. So just an example of some things you might look out for. If you have a full-time job, you'd want a T4. Look out for a T4. If you're commissioned or you earn a pension, you'll get a T4A. If you have sales or investments of stocks outside of a TFSA or RSP, like in a margin account during the year, you'll get a T5008, T5008 from your brokerage. Like in Wealthsimple, they've already issued it for the year for 2022. For Questrade, you'll have to go under account and then tax slips. If you have distributions, again, if you own a REIT, you don't get dividends, you get distributions. These are available as of March 31st. That's the deadline for the corporations to file. For the trust to file, these are trust returns. If you get dividends from, let's say, TD Bank, you'll get a T5. Those are due February 28th of the following year. Those are already issued. And again, just some examples of what I'd be filing. Because I have a real estate business with a home office and some auto expenses, this is the T2125. That's not a form that anyone provides. That's just the form I would go to fill out my own return. And because I have my YouTube, that's a separate business, which is another T2125. And then I have my course, which is another. I have two rental properties, which I know is Form 776. Again, you'll have to put these funds, put these accounts and investments, just like your revenue and expenses, together yourself. Some other items to take into account: I'm a CPA. I pay like $1,200 in dues. These dues are deductible on your tax return, so make sure you have a receipt. If you worked from home, there's up to a $500 credit if you worked from home during COVID, and there's no proof required, so you know what to do there. If you drive to clients, if that's part of your job, make sure you have a log and keep a log of all your driving to clients. I know it's a lot of work, and it's hard to keep track of, and keep track of your expenses, keep your receipts. Did you have any RSP contributions? You'll need that slip. If you have any tuition, make sure to get, I think it's a T2200 from your institution. So going right into it, if we start off with TurboTax, so you see a few options here. Do your own taxes. It's free for a simple return. Deluxe, they have it's $29.99. Premier, if you have investments in rental property. Again, this is if you kind of know what you're doing. If you want some help, it gets a little more expensive. Someone can review, someone can help you prepare it for $90. But if you're self-employed, it gets a little more expensive. TurboTax self-employed, it starts at $50, $110, and you can have someone prepare it for you for $250. Just if you want to know if this is a good price, H&R Block for a simple return, I think, is around $400. So this is still cheaper than going to a professional. This is if your self-employed returns are pretty complicated. So let's just start off with TurboTax. I'm going to go free. I'm going to try to fill this out myself. The good thing about TurboTax, I'll say, the questionnaire at the beginning, you have to answer it properly so all the prompts pop up and for everything for you to fill out. With Wealthsimple, it's a little more complicated. I wish they had a little more criteria. I wish they had a little more help for you, because sometimes we'll go through it. I'm rambling. While this is loading, I don't know what's taking so long. Everyone, make sure you have a CRA account. This has access to all your T-slips and all your information. If you don't have it, if something got lost in the mail, if you sign up to this account, it tells you your TFSA balance, your RSP balance. It has all your T-slips for the entire year. It tells you what you owe. You can go back to it and get notices of assessment if you want to apply for a mortgage or a rental property. So if you go to the Canada the CRA website, sign into a CRA account, go to My Account, scroll down, and then go to CRA sign in, and I'll just sign in and show you what it looks like. So this is just an overview of the website. On the left, you'll have your profile where you can change your marital status or your address. You can see past tax returns. You can apply for, I believe, like CCB, the child care benefit. You can see past tax returns and how much you currently owe. I don't owe anything because I haven't filed my tax returns, but it also shows you your installments from previous years. So right now I have $23,000 in installments. I usually pay 25% of my real estate commissions in installments because I know I'll owe that at the end of the year. So as soon as I get a commission, I'll send 25% to the government just so I don't have a big tax payable at the end of the year. This lessens the blow. So if we look on the right, so I think I have to go to overview, scroll down, and it should have your T-slips here. So what is interesting, let me just show you something. It has all your years and it has every T-slip, but something that does get a little complicated. So these are examples of T-slips that I have. If we look at the T5008, because I trade a lot, I have 437 T-slips. So I want this account and I want to connect it to my tax software so I can upload it. I don't use Wealthsimple or TurboTax. I use Tax Prep, which is a little more advanced, but that's besides the point. So going right to TurboTax, let's just make up an email. Cool. So I just created an account, just a fake account. It asks you some questions, which doesn't affect. I think this is just for their data. It doesn't affect what you do or anything that happens now. So let's say I'm filing for the first time. We'll help guide you through the entire process. What's interesting about this? I played around with it a little earlier. Look, if you're under 25. Your tax returns are free. So instead of the $50 for the self-employed, it was $0, which is a pretty cool perk that I didn't know about. So who are you preparing this return for? Myself. First name, let's just go BZ. Last name, BZ. And then let's say married. Did you get married in 2022? No. Do you want to prepare return together with your spouse? No. Continue. Again, look, what's good about TurboTax is the prepping and all the questions right at the start. Where did you live? Let's just say Ontario. Did you move from another province or territory? Because there are deductions if you've moved over 40 kilometers. Let's say no. Did you move away to or away from Canada? Let's say no. Are you a Canadian citizen? Yes. Do you authorize the CRA to share your information? No. Do you authorize CRA to share your name for organ and tissue donor registry? No. Do you have an income that is exempt under the Indian Act? Also no. Are you filing an income tax return with the CRA for the first time? Let's just say yes. Do you need to file an income tax return for any prior year? So that's interesting because you can start prior years. It's probably better because you can roll some numbers forward, but I'll say no. Again, let me just make some stuff up. So I'll go 1, 2, 3, fake street, city, Toronto, province, Ontario, postal code. Hopefully that works. Language, English. Did you change your address? No. No thanks. Do you have any dependents? No. So SIN number. So if you want to play around, this SIN number always works. Date of birth, let's go 01/01/2000. So weird edit there. I just went back and removed the spouse because I don't have a fake social insurance number to use, just because it makes it a little easier. Yeah, there we go. We're going to review. Let's click continue. Now, it's a lot to get started. It's a lot. All these questionnaires help them plan and know what you need to file for. So this tells you what's new to taxes this year. First-time homebuyers credit, not important for us. Let's build your tax profile. Did you work in 2022? Yes. I was employed. I have a T4A. Let's say I got a pension. Do you have expenses related to your employment? Yes, I had employment expenses. Did I receive anything else? Did I work in Quebec? No, I have other employment expenses. I received wage income. I want to make optional CPP? No. I have shares. I was self-employed as well. I have business expenses, and let's say I have business expenses here. All my self-employed income is reported on T4 or T4A. So this is if you received commissions, but that's a no. I received unemployment, no. I received workers' comp. I received tips, casual labor, no. I participated in a work training program. Did you receive other income not mentioned? Child support, no. Did you or your split income? Also no. I might have to split this video into two. This is pretty long. Did you contribute to an RSP? Yes. I made RSP contributions. I have previously reported but unused RSP. You can carry those forward. You can deduct them. I made RSP contributions before March and have not reported on any tax returns. I have. I made my employer PRPP. I like to carry forward. So these are all, there's a lot of questions that you have to read. It's a lot to prep, but it does help. Did you withdraw any money from your RSP account? No. Do you want to make repayments? So if you bought a house with the home buyer's plan or the lifelong learning plan, I'll say no. Did you receive income from investments? Yes. Do you have these investment income reported on a slip? T5, T3, T5008, T5003. So this is a lot. A lot of people have T5s and T3s, maybe T5008 as well. Did you have interest, dividend, partnership income not reported on a slip? No. Did you sell stocks, bonds, or other property? Yes. This is a lot. I sold a stock, shares, I sold a rental property, I sold bonds. But, so this, I sold stocks, would be on the T5008. Did you buy or sell cryptocurrency? I'm going to say no. Did you sell capital property? No. Did you spin off corporations? Did you have investment expenses? Yes. I paid interest and carrying charges, so I can deduct those. Any expense incurred to earn income can be deducted. Did you have income expense from a rental property? Yes. Again, this is a lot. Did you have moving expenses? No. Did you buy a condo? No. Did you own foreign property over 100,000? Yes. So I have to fill out form T1135 is what they call it. Did you have any losses? No. Did you dispose of property? Eligible expenses. This is a lot of questions. No for most of these. I'm not sure. Guide me. Whoop. Let me just say no. Were you incarcerated? Also no. Cool. So this tax profile summary helps them build my tax return. Look, I get to file for free. That's funny. So you're under 25, you get to file for free. And then now is where I get to fill everything out. Like it is, it took a while to get there, but all this information is available from the CRA. Again, this is a CRA account. The account that I showed you a little earlier with all the T-slips, sign into CRA. This is where it auto pulls the information. So always good to have this set up. I think I'm going to stop here and move on to Wealthsimple. Everything is pretty straightforward. You have your T-slips or you pull from the CRA account, you just fill in the information. This is just for beginners. So moving on right to Wealthsimple, I'm going to sign in and let's get started. So right off the bat, you can choose a profile name, which I don't know why, so I'll do BZ YouTube video. And then choose one. Yeah, this one. So I already had some information here filled out. I'm just going to go Bob, same insurance, same social insurance number, preferred language English. Is this for a deceased person? No. If you go yes, it's a terminal return if you're filing for someone else. The net file access code, you don't need this. But it is, if you have on your notice of assessment, just fill it in, but we'll move on. Mailing address, I already filled out this fake street. About your residence, just in Ontario. I'm just doing this pretty straightforward. Marital status, single. Just so I don't have to fill out any additional spousal return. Did you have any, same questions as the previous one. I just want to walk you through the basics. This is important if you have over $100,000 in stocks. Specified foreign property, I do have more than 100,000 in shares. So I'm going to fill out yes, so I'll fill out a T1135. Are you a person registered under the Indian Act? No. Would you claim a climate incentive? No. Trillium benefit? Let's go no. Are you registered for a CRA account? Ideally, you want to sign up for this. So no, if this person doesn't have one. So we'll fill it out for a little later. The interesting thing here, it says autofill your return. If you've never used Wealthsimple before, you can't really import these slips. But if you have, they already have them for you, so you can import the data from Wealthsimple. But once you fill out and sign up for the CRA My Account, similar to TurboTax, you'll get a prompt here that'll let you autofill and auto import your returns. It's a lot easier. You get a lot of benefits by signing up for the CRA My Account. So I advise everyone to do that. So it just kind of fills in the information for you and it's less chance of making errors. So one thing that's complicated, or I don't really like about this, let me just delete that. So right now, there's like, where do you fill out your returns or your information? Like there's nothing here. It's weird, right? So you have to go to this little section and you have to find the forms, you have to type them in. So it is a little complicated. Like I know a rental is 776. So you see here it comes rental income, but you can type in rental and it'll pop out. But what if you don't know what to type in or what to search for? Like I know my personal business, I'm self-employed, is a T2125. So you know that comes right here. It also gets a little confusing. I know capital gains and losses is under Schedule 3. If you type it properly, Schedule 3, capital gains and losses. But also you're probably wondering, hey, I got a T5008. Isn't that the same? But you see here, it says T5008, if you prefer, you can use the capital gains section. It's pretty much the same thing, but it's just a little nuance that might confuse you. So if you have a T4, you'll type in T4, or if you have employment income, you can just press that button. So this is designed to help you, but it might get a little confusing if you don't know what to search for, if you forget something. So that's where I think the TurboTax is a little easier because it kind of prompts you, but you'd have to fill this out exactly like how it's on your T-slip. If you have more, if you had 2 jobs during the year, you'd fill out both. So let's go, you'd add this. Let's go back up to the top. And then you want to add, if you're self-employed, you go T2125. You'd add that section. You'd fill out your business name. You'd add your income, your expenses. If you had a car or if you had capital, what is it, like motor vehicle expenses, you'd add them here. CCA, how do you like to report your CCA? Oh, that's interesting. Business, home use of home expenses. If you're self-employed, you'd use this section. If you had a rental property, let's scroll up to the top. You'd go rental and you'd fill out all the information here. So this is slowly building your return, one income source at a time. If you had RSP, you just type that in. I'm just making sure I have enough room here. Deduction limit. Who cares about your deduction limit? You could just use unused contribution. Did you make any contributions? Let's say yes, and then it'll have you fill out the amount. What else is there? If you have carrying charges or interest expenses. So where is that? So let's say carrying charges or interest expenses. It's a little weird because I already know what to look for. I already know what to search for. These are any interest expenses from investing. So you scroll back up to the top and you can, if you made any donations, you could type that in here. You could say charity amount, 500. And then what's interesting, let me start filling this out because your income and your refund will pop up live here. So let me just show you an example. Let's say my income from my business, let's say 50,000. It shows you if you owe or if you're getting a refund. It is pretty interesting. At the very end, obviously, you can review and optimize. I haven't used this feature yet, but I do like the summary at the bottom. Summary spreadsheet. This is a good way to get an overview of what the tax form would look like. This looks a little more like the professional form, like right here. Let's go new. So again, it looks more like this. It's a little complicated. I do like how it pops up. So this is like the legit tax return. And you can review everything you've submitted. They all pop up right here. You can see the $50,000 I submitted here. Let's go play around a little more. If I go RSP, would that pop up? RRSP contribution. Did you make any contribution? Let's say 5,000, and we should see this amount go down. It did not. Type of contribution, your RSP. Boom. So I wonder why it's not type of contribution. Amount, description, RSP. Your deduction is 0. My limit, let's say $50,000. There we go. So you have to put in a deduction limit for this amount to work. So if you have access to your CRA website, you'd be able to fill that out. But again, just an example, like I don't want to go too deep into this. I feel like this video is already too long, of 2 softwares you can use. TurboTax, I think it's a little better. It might be a little more complicated just with the questions and setting you up right at the beginning. If you need some help, you can get more help on TurboTax. You can pay for someone to review it. It might be worth it. Don't always go for the free amount. I believe Wealthsimple is free. If you want to upgrade your return, what does this mean? Audit support. Oh, this is hilarious. Get support from our tax expert for Bob's tax return for $30. I won't be doing that. Manage your tax returns. Okay, so these are all the forms I've set up right now. T4 slips, T5008. Let's see if they'll pop up if I keep adding. So if I go, what else could I add? T2200, employment expenses. Did you work from home during the year? I did work from home. Use the flat rate method. How many days? Say 250, and I'll get another $500 off. We go down to the summary and we could just see a little breakdown of what changed. Let's see what changed. You'll see here, other employment expenses. Is my RSP anywhere? RSP deduction, 5,000. I do like this breakdown. Okay, I think I'm gonna end it here. Just a little overview of how to get started. It might be a little confusing. I'll leave a few timestamps. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching and tune into the next one.